Hey there everybody and welcome to Lachlan Tries Vlogging, where today I am going to come back from the terrible month of February and talk to you about Twitter. First of all, an admission, because let's face it, we can't avoid the facts. I have not made a video since I made my video talking about how stressful the month of February was going to be. And as it turns out, February was a lot more stressful than I thought it would be, and it actually ended up leaking into a little bit of March as well. But when all is said and done, everything that happened in the month of February needed to happen, and I am now a better person for having gone through it all, and I am now comfortably at university for the start of my third year of my journalism degree, and so today I thought I would take some time out to talk to you about something that came up during a tutorial I had today for a media class. Those of you who follow me on Twitter, @apixelshort, if you don't already, would have noticed that I've started tweeting using some course hashtags because, for once, course hashtags are being highly promoted during lectures and tutorials, and during that class we entered into just a little bit of debate on whether or not journalists actually had a legitimate use for Twitter, and I have come away with some interesting thoughts, I think, on the subject, so I thought I'd give them to you here now. Okay, first of all, let's just start by saying outright that social media, whether it be Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Vine, Snapchat, and the like, is something that is incredibly important and pervasive throughout our society in 2015, and it's an unescapable fact that its importance has leaked to the media. Take a look through the last 6 months of news bulletins at 6 PM across Australia, particularly the ones based in Sydney and Melbourne, and I guarantee you'll be hard-pressed to find a single piece where a single reporter isn't mentioned along with their Twitter handle. The thing is though, just because they're on Twitter doesn't mean they're using Twitter properly, so I decided to sit down and think about all the different ways that a journalist might be able to use Twitter as a professional. The first thing that journalists tend to do is use their Twitter as a platform for self-promotion. You'll often see journalists from Channel 9 retweeting the Channel 9 News Twitter account and also talking about the bulletins that they'll be posting later on in the day as a sort of a hook to try and get people into watching the 6 o'clock news. This kind of self-promotion stuff on Twitter is not new, it's not old. I don't think it's going to be going away, but it is not really a legitimate use for journalists outside of what their news editors might want them to do. And of course, things that they themselves may want to do as well. I don't know a single person who's writing for news media who doesn't want their stuff to be seen. Moving on though, we have the second use of Twitter, a use that has become pervasive, of course, in 2015, and it sort of started its rise back in 2012 as far as I'm concerned, and that is breaking news on Twitter. In the time it takes for a breaking news website to write a 3 or 4 paragraph story saying that there is breaking news coming out of a place and that something is happening, about 1,000 people can write the same thing on Twitter in fewer words and with a greater impact and audience. When breaking news hits, most people are going to know about it on Twitter if they are on Twitter. Most journalists are going to know about breaking news via Twitter just after they hear about it from their sources, and if they hear about it from their sources, then they're the ones posting that information to Twitter themselves at the same time as them giving that information onto their editors and also writing up stories or making a news package for TV or radio journalists as well. But the problem with these first two uses of Twitter, the self-promotion and the breaking news thing, is that in a lot of cases journalists have created a kind of echo chamber because they're all following each other hoping to try and get the news, and instead they're just sort of throwing the same thing back and forth at each other. If you take out the self-promotion, which is just dead air as far as I'm concerned, most people who are journalists using Twitter will write breaking, this is a story. That is a tweet that they will write the moment they hear about news breaking. At the same time as they're doing it, every other journalist is doing it as well. Not to mention every single social media editor for every single major news website, TV channel, or radio station, who are all trying to get the same thing out first, whether or not they're going to succeed. This brings me to the third and final use that I see for journalists on Twitter, and that's not breaking news, but finding news. Now you see, when I talk about this, I'm going to be talking about it as if it is breaking news, because in that way, journalists on Twitter who are looking for news are going to try and break news themselves, and they are actually going to be posting information from other sources on Twitter. But the thing is, they need to just view Twitter not as a place to say that news is happening, but they need to view Twitter as a place where news is happening. During the start of protests in Ferguson, a lot of people, particularly mainstream media journalists here in Australia, were simply reposting information that they were finding from American news sources until someone decided that rather than just posting the same stuff that CNN was posting, they were going to try and find news of their own. That led a lot of people to look not for journalists who were on the ground in Ferguson, but for actual citizens who were on the ground in Ferguson, knowing that while they may not be able to immediately verify the stuff that is coming through their Twitter feeds, they know that they are there, they are posting right now. They are the people who are a part of the news event. They are the people who are making the news. And if they find those people and retweet what they're saying and collate their information into news stories of their own, that they might be able to get an edge over other journalists on Twitter. This is where I think Twitter actually has utility for journalists, not for them to follow other journalists, although I'm sure that most journalists would like to have a bit of a powwow on the platform, but actually looking for new information, trying to find trending news before it starts trending, trying to find breaking news before it's officially broken. Anyway, those are my thoughts on Twitter, and that is coming out of one of my media courses, MDIA 3002. That information is going to be in the description of this video because, like I've been promising so often in the past, I am going to be making videos based on thoughts that I have in classes, about classes, and outside of classes to do with my classes while I'm at university today. So if you enjoyed this, make sure you check out for other videos labeled MDIA 3002. And if you are from the course at university, hi guys, I know it's as awkward for me as it is for you having my YouTube channel shouted out in lectures, but Helen, I really do appreciate the promotion. In the meantime, if you want to check out what I've been doing, make sure you do follow me on Twitter as well as Instagram and Facebook, and also check out my most recent blog post. You can find all of that stuff in links in the description. But for now, that's it from me. Thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you're having a wonderful day/evening, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye, Internet.